Aloha and welcome to the June Jones Show. Liz is on assignment in Louisiana. She'll join us in just a moment. But first, talk about a great escape from Ruston. The Warriors were picked to roll. 28-point favorites over the Bulldogs. Instead, they were pushed to the brink. Suddenly, their dream season hung in the balance. The Heisman hopes, the perfect record, the BCS talk, all of that could disappear just like that if Hawaii could not rally on the road. So rally they did, thanks in part to a couple of unlikely heroes. Here's what's on tap tonight, brought to you by Bud Light, always worth it. We'll go to Ruston for a recap of Saturday's thrilling overtime win over Louisiana Tech. Liz caught up with JJ right after the game to get his thoughts on the victory and the upcoming battle at UNLV. We'll go under the helmet with the Warriors defensive coordinator, Greg McMackin, whose quiet intensity actually has people talking about that other side of the football. But first, who would have thought that with 3 minutes left in the game, the Warriors would find themselves on the losing end of the scoreboard? Well, that's exactly what happened, and that's just where the craziness begins. Liz joins us now from Louisiana with tonight's opening drive.
10, 5, touchdown!
Relief and a 45-44 win are what Hawaii came away with after the final play versus La Tech, thanks to a broken-up pass by Gerard Lewis in overtime.
I just had the flash. I had everything outside, and they threw the ball outside on me. But we always talk about finishing the games on the road, and we finished it.
How UH started the game was an early concern. Before the opening kickoff, for the first time, Hawaii was penalized for doing the haka. Then La Tech opened things up with a 14-0 lead off 2 TD runs by Patrick Jackson, who finished with 104 yards rushing. The Warriors, on the other hand, had their hands full with the Bulldogs' heavy blitz.
We had a couple glitches up front with the line, a couple receivers running the wrong routes, but once we got comfortable, we settled down, everything was just, going one after another. Everything was in sync, and everybody was just moving on the right path.
After being down 21-14 at halftime, Hawaii got back on track. The Warriors' first passing TD, the 100th of Colt Brennan's career, gave them their first lead in the third. But there would be 6 more lead changes after that.
And that's exactly how this season go. It's going to be times, this probably not going to be the only game we're going to be down, but it's this thing is how we get back up, how we pick each other up. And, that just shows the love for this team. It's crazy right now.
It was a wild ride for Dan Kelly as well. He was 0 for 2 for field goals until he nailed a 49-yarder to tie things up at 38 with less than 2 minutes to play.
Really, I've screwed up more times than I succeeded. I can tell you that much right now. So it wasn't a matter of me, okay, I got to make this to redeem myself. It's just I got to do my job to put our team in the best situation to win. Everyone's like, oh, you saved our season. I was like, no, I just did my job.
Brennan had the numbers of a job well done with 548 yards passing, including 4 TDs. But it was 2 quick strikes to get Hawaii in the end zone in OT that really counted for him.
It's just going to build so much character. It's a good lesson on how to prepare and travel. But like I said, we saw Michigan in this position not too long ago. We've seen a lot of teams in this position. And for us to come and just keep fighting and keep pushing, and Boise won 4 of these games last year down to the wire, and we're going to have to win a couple ourselves, and that's what it's all about, and I'm glad we stepped up and got the win.
While Boise State's perfect season ended at Washington on Saturday, Hawaii's hopes of an undefeated year are still intact because of that busted 2-point conversion. What were your thoughts on the sidelines as you decided that this is where the game's going to be either won or lost?
Well, I didn't want to get in a scoring fest, and I felt like it was the right thing to do, and we had a little miscommunication on the play, and we didn't execute.
Hawaii's defense, while giving up 410 yards, welcomed the challenge of being the deciding factor in the final seconds.
We invite any opportunity to get on the field. We would have been fine with a blowout, playing better defense early on. But since it turned out the way it did, the only thing we could control is our effort, our attitude, and our actions.
Hawaii now heads to UNLV looking for its 5th straight road win dating back to last season.
Thanks, Liz. As we take a look inside the numbers, brought to you by the University of Hawaii Federal Credit Union, both teams combined for more than 1,000 yards of total offense. Colt Brennan passed for at least 400 yards in his 12th straight game. After allowing only 50 yards on the ground a week ago to Northern Colorado, the Bulldogs chewed up 223 on Saturday. And another key stat, Louisiana Tech capitalized on 3 Hawaii turnovers and turned them into 21 points. For more on the win, we rejoin Liz Chun with June Jones in Ruston.
Well, we're improvising this week for the June Jones Show. We're actually in La Tech's locker room, but, you know, it'll do. Coach Jones, are you at all surprised at how this game played out?
Well, I was a little bit surprised. We made some errors that you don't usually overcome. You know, we had that many turnovers on the road, and we didn't get any, and that's kind of unheard of that you win the game when you do that. I was proud of the kids that they just had a never-say-die attitude, and that probably will go a long way for us building the character we need to be a good team.
3 turnovers turned into 21 points. What were you saying to your team about making up for those?
Well, I didn't really talk about it. You know, I don't talk about the negative stuff, but they knew what was going on. I knew what we had to do. You know, we had to put it in the end zone, and I was glad that we, you know, obviously the kick Dan Kelly made was huge, and Colt, you know, Colt did what he had to do. He didn't have his greatest game, but we didn't help him on some things. But he played very well, and he's competitive, and he put us in the overtime.
Let's talk about those struggles early on. You said you had question marks about Hawaii's offensive line, being that there were so many changes last week. This week, we started to see some high snaps, some offside calls, as well as it just seemed like there was some confusion there.
No, there was, and that's what happens when you go on the road. You know, the snap counts were a little different, and I mean, the crowd noise was a little different, and you know, we just made mistakes that the good teams don't make, and had we not made those mistakes, we probably would have won pretty easily. But you know, when you allow the team to stay in the game by doing those things, penalties and turnovers, you're lucky to win, and we're lucky to win this week. But it built and says a lot about our guys.
Coach Dooley went into this game saying, you know, we're going to say right now we're not going to stop Hawaii, but we're obviously going to try and slow them down. They were very effective in doing that.
Well, they did some things that, you know, they blitzed a lot, and you know, they took a lot of chances, and you know, we completed a lot of balls, and the kids made plays when they did blitz. We probably could have made some bigger plays, and we'll look at the film and get better, and somebody else will try that on us before the year's out.
Defensively also some missed tackles there that obviously hurt.
No, they did. They have a good running back, and they got a good little scheme, and they got big offensive linemen. You know, we rotate a lot of guys in there, and you know, hopefully we'll just live and learn and just keep getting better.
First half, there were those struggles. So what became the locker room talk for you in regards to adjustment made on offense and defense?
Well, we just talked at halftime. You know, we can score very quickly, and we're 2 plays away from being ahead. And you know, I think the guys have a very professional and attitude about you know, playing the game right now, and they know what they have to do, and they know they can do it, and they hung in there and got it done.
A lot of the players said you use that time also to tell them that if you want to define this season, here's your opportunity.
Yeah, no, I said at halftime that, you know, I wouldn't really want to have it any other way on the road coming from behind. That kind of builds the character that you need, and this game will go a long ways to building that character to make us good.
Being that a lot of mistakes were made in the first half, but every single unit, whether it's special teams, offense, defense, made up for it in the second half. We'll start with Dan Kelly. That was huge for him.
No, it was. You know, he's come through when we've asked him to do those type things. And last year, you know, he has his moments prior to. And, you know, I remember, you know, Justin and I was a little the same way. But, you know, I know they have enough leg, and, you know, you just got to give them the opportunity and show you have confidence in them. And he made the kick, and that'll go a long way for him, too.
And you had no hesitation when he had a missed field goal and one was blocked?
Well, you got to, you know, you got to have faith. And, you know, I didn't watch it, I can tell you that. I turned my back to it. But I'm glad he made it.
How about defensively and that huge stop at the end by Gerard Lewis?
Yeah, that was a big play. You heard Coach Dooley describe that play. They actually had an error, which happens with young kids, but you know, it ended up being a big play. And Gerard's a football player, and you know, he flies around and he made a play for us.
When you're leaving the game in defensive hands like that, what impressed you most about just what they were able to do as a unit?
Well, you know, that we had some key stops in the third and fourth quarter that we had to have, and then we turned the ball over and gave it right back to them, you know, and it just seemed like we weren't on the same sync, you know. When they did their job and stopped them and got them off the field, we turned the ball back right over to them, and just we were out of sync all game. But, you know, they did a lot of good things, even though there were some things that we'll look at and obviously have to improve in.
As you think about confidence and what you guys take from this game, what most do you feel is going to kind of catapult you into the next road game? I mean, this is, like we said, a long trip, 12 days.
Well, it is, but, you know, to win a game like this bonds us, and this next week we'll bond even more. If we can come finish and go home 3-0, that'd be huge.
Lastly, Colt Brennan, he always kind of seems to be the talk for us. We surrounded around him. I saw him after the game go up to everybody and thank them because it's a team win tonight and want to redirect the attention. What can you say will maybe help develop him coming out of this win tonight at La Tech?
Well, you know, he made some mistakes tonight just on base things, but you know, when the money's down and when you got to have it, you know, he kind of gets it done. He did everything he had to do for us to win the game, and like I said, he'll improve. He'll look at the tape and he'll get better from it.